Hey, how's it going? Today I'm comparing three different flashlights that have headlamp options. So all three of these lights have a strap you can wear on your head for hands-free lighting. But all three of these lights are also capable of being removed from the head strap. This way you can just use it as an angled pocket light. So on the left here we have the ThruNite TH30. In the middle we have the Olight Perun 2. And on the right we have the Nitecore HC35. Now, although I tried these flashlights by themselves during testing, most of the time I did use them as a headlamp. All right, so I want to show you with the strap. All right, but right now I'm going to take all the straps off just to make it a little easier to compare. The ThruNite has two rubber straps. All right, and those rubber straps sit in channels that are cut out. You can see here and here. All right, so those sit inside those channels so it doesn't move any which way, although you can change the angle on your head by just rotating it. All right, so that's how the strap works for the ThruNite, the TH30. As far as the Olight goes, very similar system, two straps here. All right, one has a little bit of a handle, help you get it off there, but same thing, it sits in these channels that are cut out. All right, so it doesn't want to move back and forth at all, but same deal, you can just rotate it while it's in there. Now the Nitecore is a little bit different in that they have these metal tabs, okay, which work the same way as the pocket clip. It is worth noting that all three of these lights do come with a separate pocket clip. They utilize these little cutouts, all right, that are on the body so that if you wanted to just have it clipped to the pocket, pointing straight out, or clipped to a shoulder, a strap of a bag, or wherever you want to actually clip that, they do come with those, but they use the same style to actually attach it to their headband here, okay? So there's a little cutout on both sides of this body. So if you wanted to have it so that this is on the right side of your head, and keep in mind I'm looking at the opposite, if this was on my head looking at you, this would be on the right side, or you can attach it the other way if you want the head of the body, or excuse me, the head of the flashlight to be pointed on the left side of your head. So whatever happens to be, better for you, you have that option, but there is only one clip as opposed to the two straps that are on both the Olight Perun 2 as well as the ThruNite TH30. All right, so this Nitecore is quite different in that respect. So speaking of pocket clips, these are the clips that go with each individual light. All right, so first we have the ThruNite here. All right, just snaps on. Again, you can have this in either direction, although the pocket clip itself is bi-directional. All right, so this way you can clip it anywhere you want, really. Here's a pocket clip for the Olight. All right, snaps on as well. Same thing, bi-directional. All right, so you can clip this on the bottom or you can clip it towards the top. It is worth noting that the bottom here has a magnetic rechargeable tail cap, so this does have a magnet inside there, so you could actually use this and magnetize it somewhere as well for another lighting option, or at least a way to mount it. And same thing with the Nitecore. You see the bottom is magnetized, and there's that pocket clip as well, which is also bi-directional but a different style. Definitely prefer the ThruNite and the Olight over the Nitecore as far as this pocket clip goes, although it works totally fine. It's really not meant to be bi-directional, I don't believe. All right, but of course you could kind of clip that upside down, or if you wanted to reverse that pocket clip on the other end or something, you can use it like that, but it's just not, it doesn't have as much length to it as opposed to these two, which are dedicated for that purpose. All right, so let's talk about output and price, the two most important factors more times than not when you're looking to purchase a new flashlight. First, we have the ThruNite TH30. These sell for $69.95 most places, although on Amazon the steady price is $59.95. This has a total output of 3,350 lumens on the turbo mode. All right, very, very bright light. Then we have the Olight here, the Perun 2. These sell for $89.95. These have a max output of 2,500 lumens. All right, also very bright. And last is the Nitecore HC35. These sell pretty steadily for $99.95, although I have seen it for a little bit less and a little bit more on Amazon. All right, and these have a max output of 2,700 lumens, which is also very, very bright. So because these were designed to be headlamps and used in unison with those head straps, I did want to touch upon the subject of weight and size just a little bit here. I don't think that either one of these have an advantage, like a huge advantage over each other, although they are different in weight, and the ThruNite was the lightest. Now, I noticed this because I was going back to back to back. All right, so I had the ThruNite on for a little while, then I took that off and I put the Olight on, I took that off, and I put the Nitecore on. So I did notice the weight differences, but I have to say, if you're not testing multiple lights, you probably wouldn't know the difference. In other words, if I put the Olight on today, and then tomorrow I tried out the ThruNite, I wouldn't think to myself, oh wow, that's a lot lighter. But it is a little bit lighter. It's just something I noticed and wanted to mention, again, between testing. So the ThruNite here is the shortest of the bunch. If I kind of line the bottoms up a little here, you can see that. So it's the shortest. This is also running on an 18650 as compared to the Olight and the Nitecore are both running on 21700 lithium ion batteries, okay? The ThruNite came in at 4.3 ounces, which translates to 123 grams, compared to the Olight, which is the heaviest at 5.68 ounces or 161 grams. And the Nitecore, although it's the longest, was in between these two in weight at 4.89 ounces or 138 grams. So again, as far as this style of light, and there are more in the market, you're not going to find that they are the most comfortable on the head. They are a little bit bigger, but they do offer a ton of light. All right, so next I want to show the UI or user interface for each one of these lights, just so people can see how they actually function. But I'm also going to show the specs here as well. All right, so you could pause the screen right here if you want to see all the modes and the outputs and run times for those modes. So the modes on the ThruNite TH30 V2 are as follows. If you have the light off, do a long press for the moonlight mode, or firefly mode rather. All right, this is the lowest mode that this light has to offer. You just push once to shut it off. If you just click once to turn it on and push and hold, you could cycle through low, medium 1, and medium 2, and high. All right, so there's 4 modes here essentially: low, medium, and high. At any point in time, you can double click for the turbo mode, which is our highest output at 3,350 lumens. And then if you triple click at any point, it'll go into the SOS mode. So 1, 2, 3. And now it is an SOS in case you have some kind of emergency. All right, just click once to shut that off. So pretty simple. More times than not, when using this and testing it, I just went right into the turbo mode, which again is just a simple double click. All right, and obviously the button is on the top, as it is with all 3 of these flashlights. So next up here is the Olight Perun 2, and again, I just want to show the paperwork here. All right, so you can look at the modes and the output and run times. All right, just for the people who are curious on those run times, just easier to show you this paperwork as opposed to just spew off a bunch of numbers. Now the modes for the Olight Perun 2 are pretty easy to use as well. Right now this one needs a charge, so it's a little bit low. So what's happening is internally it's giving me a little buzz to let me know that it can't go into turbo mode, but I'll still show you how it normally would work. So for a long press, we get to our moonlight mode, okay, and then pushing and holding it, it's going to cycle between low, medium, and high normally. All right, if you want to get directly to turbo, it would be a double click. It would go into turbo. In this case, it just stepped down because there's not enough power. But you would double click for turbo, or you could triple click for the SOS mode, okay? This light also has a built-in timer. A 3-minute timer will automatically shut off, as well as a 9-minute timer. I'm not going to get into that in this particular video though. But you know, the UI is very simple on the Olights, pretty much across the board, just like it is on the ThruNites. And last up is the Nitecore HC35. All right, again, show you the paperwork here real quick. All right, you can see again the technical data section here, which shows the outputs and run times. I did want to also show here that the 21700 that is included with this light, obviously that's what I'm running on right now just for the testing or demo, but it is also capable of running on a single 18650 or 2 CR123As. So to use the Nitecore HC35, all you have to do is click the button once to turn it on, and then you're going to individually click to change through all the different modes. Starting off with what they consider ultra low, which is just like a moonlight mode or firefly mode. All right, so we have ultra low, click it again, we go to low, then medium, then high, then their turbo. All right, and again, the turbo mode here is 2700 lumens. Then they have what they call their specialty modes, all right, which is strobe, beacon, and SOS. So to access these, it's a quick double press. All right, so right now we are on our strobe mode, but we single click, can change it to what they consider beacon, all right, which is kind of cool. This would be very helpful in some situations. And then click it one more time, and then we have our SOS mode. All right, same thing, it's just cycling through strobe, beacon, and SOS. All right, the long press to shut that off. All right, first up here is the ThruNite TH30 V2. All right, so let that focus. Go ahead and pan up and down, and then left and right. So you can see the spill on here is very nice. This is a 2-car garage. All right, it's a very wide area, completely lighting up the entire garage pretty evenly. I don't see a specific hot spot that's super focused. I mean, if I had to create the edge of the hot spot, it's probably around here. So keep that in mind comparing to these other lights. All right, so next up here is the Olight Perun 2. Put that in turbo mode, let that focus. All right, pan up and down, and then left and right. All right, so again, this has a very good spill, but it has a little bit more of a defined area. All right, so the spill off to the side is a little bit dimmer than the ThruNite in comparison. And next up is the Nitecore HC35. And tap that on. Go right to our turbo mode. All right. We'll go up and down and left and right. Now this one has the quad head. You can see it has a very nice spill. It's pretty much a whole area light. I don't really see too much of a defined edge as far as that center hotspot. This really is a great light for spill. All right, this is basically just an area light. All right, but I don't know if you could tell, but that already dimmed down. I do have these fully charged. I'm not sure why that happened. I guess it already ran out of its full juice. It's actually a little disappointing. I was quite impressed. This was seemed like the brightest light. That didn't last all that long. I literally just turned this on. So there's the HC35. All right, so I'm gonna try this again with the HC35 and the turbo mode. I just want to hold it here for a minute, and I want to see if that was a one-time occurrence or if that is going to step down that quickly, because I was thoroughly impressed with that. It did seem like literally the brightest light so far, and I love the spill on it, but it dipped down pretty quick. So if you didn't need all that light, that would be a little disappointing. So even though this is on my head for testing, I am touching it and holding it. It is getting quite warm, the head of the light. And there it is again. So it dimmed down to its high mode. Let's go ahead and press the top, and there it is. All right, so you could see that the heat that this is expelling, and it does feel quite hot, that is not allowing that turbo mode to stay on very long at all. So it is dimming down. So yeah, just for a point of reference, this was the most impressive until that happened. So there you go, guys. That's a comparison between the ThruNite TH30 headlamp, the Olight Perun 2 headlamp, and the Nitecore HC35 headlamp. Again, everything, of course, has its pros and cons. I actually like all three of these lights. I do think that they all have their own place and fit and time. I do like the extra modes on the Nitecore. I think the beacon mode is kind of, pretty unique. As far as being used as a headlamp, I don't see that being very useful, but taking it off the strap, how we have it here with the pocket clip, I feel like that can definitely be put on a backpack or something if someone's following you through woods or a hike or a trail. I think that's a kind of a cool function. Obviously, the ThruNite is quite literally the smallest, the lightest of the bunch, the cheapest, and the brightest, on paper. But it just comes down to your personal preference, the beam shot that you like, whether you want a little bit more spill, a little bit more throw. I think all three head straps are okay. I will say in wearing all three of them that I did feel like the ThruNite is a little bit more comfortable, just with the parts that press against your forehead. But I think that all three of these being larger headlamp lights are uncomfortable. I use quotes there because it's not ridiculous, but again, if you're going to wear a headlamp for an extended period of time, I would probably recommend, just a cheaper, very, very lightweight headlamp, but those, again, they can't get anywhere near as bright as these types of lights. So it really just comes down to your personal needs, but if you need this much light, you might want to consider some other way to mount your lights as opposed to using a headlamp. or maybe just some permanent lighting. You know, there's some really cool options out there that you can put on like tripods and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're just looking for a super bright headlamp, I think all three of these are excellent choices. And again, they all have their pros and cons, just depends on your personal needs and wants. But anyway, that's it for now. So thanks for watching.